Hi, I'm Monika Ferreira. Welcome to the new episode of my Franchise 2.0 podcast, which I'm happy to run as a Franchise 2.0 ecosystem builder. In these podcasts, I will help you to unlock your highest potential on your path of profitable growth. Sometimes this is a path of franchising, of franchise entrepreneurship. Sometimes this is a path of technological entrepreneurship. The guest of today is Radek Klein, CEO of Twist. Hi, Radek.
Hello, and thank you for inviting me.
To start, we have to introduce a bit Twist. You have just undergone a rebranding. You came from Twistcafe to Twist, which reflects your strategical change, I think. And so you represent now 11 concepts, 12 concepts.
Yeah, 12 concepts. I started this business that this is made of 11 years ago in Brno. That's the second city of the Czech Republic. With a concept that's called Twistcafe or trdelník. That's like a chimney cake concept. A chimney cake in Polish is kurtoś koláč, I believe.
Koláč.
Koláč or just koláč. So I started rolling those cakes in one little stand in Brno, in a shopping mall close to Brno. And then anytime it made some money, we kept reinvesting it back into the business. And now after 11 years, we have 12 different concepts, like even a bubble tea concept, pizza concept, and so on.
In different categories.
Yes, even a flower store. So we have grown to this size, and now it's not about the chimney cake, about trdelník anymore. It's more about the brands themselves.
That's why I didn't want to start with the presentation of your brands, because the very beginning is not anymore you. I wanted to present you as a platform, in fact, where you concentrate all those brands, all those markets. Tell me, what was the first signal that it will be not a brand, that it will be this platform?
It started... any business is about people that you involve into it. And 4 years ago, I met with Dan and Andrea. They're my partners in the Twist now. And Dan had a lot of experience from growing different concepts. He worked for Amrest, for Burger King. He was head of Burger King in all the Central European countries, from Poland to Bulgaria. And he came to me, he approached me because he was responsible for a while for looking for new models or new locations for trdelník, for the only one concept that we had at the time. And he came to me and said, "Look, I think we can put your very good and very unique franchise model on any simple retail business that is already on the market." And he said, "I think there is a huge opportunity in a bubble tea market, so let's start it there together." And we did, and it showed us.
So he was the first signal.
Yeah, that was, we are results driven. So we like to try new things, but we need to see results. And that was the point where we really saw results from a new concept that worked even better than the original concept that I started with. And it turned out that the value in Twist, or back then in Twistcafe group, the value wasn't the chimney cake, but it was more the franchise setup that we had. And that's what we implemented in bubble tea. That's what worked. And then we said, okay, we probably can try more than just two concepts.
Okay, but I want to start with the big news of yesterday, because you have acquired an investor, a private equity firm, Central Europe Industry Partners, CEIP. Mm-hmm. And you are going to grow in a very impossible way. So what's the money for? What you want to obtain? Who will benefit of this?
Well, everyone, I hope. I always love to look for win-win cooperations. So even this is that. But at a certain point, any company that is expanding and that likes to expand, and we love to expand, that's why we do it the way we do it, needs someone who'll help them. And Mr. Benacek, who's in charge of this fund, came to me, approached me and said, look, you want to become a global company, and I've already helped a few companies to become European.
Which one, for example?
It's an industry fund, so it was industry companies from Prague or from the Czech Republic, but they really acquired some companies and then successfully sold them to United States or to other bigger funds or bigger owners. So processes and things that the company is based on need to be set in a good way. We do it the way that we try and love to try new things, and sometimes it's a good way, or sometimes they end up in a good way. Sometimes they don't.
You have to experiment.
Yes, but now we have someone who already has done some mistakes or has seen a lot of mistake being made in the companies that they owned, and that's why we want this partnership, because they're going to help us grow even more than we did before.
They will help you go from one phase to another one as a group, yes?
Yes.
Let us talk a bit about your franchising idea, about your vision to scale your business in this franchising model. Franchising is often considered as an easy growth, in fact. But I don't believe that it's that easy. So I would like to ask you what is the hardest part when scale moves from 20 locations to hundreds?
I would say everything.
Tell me.
If the company, or if a retail company that does what we do, expands this fast, there is a lot of challenges. When you have 20 stores, those challenges are very different from when you have 100 stores or 300 stores and so on. It's mostly the people, and the processes behind those people that help, like being under control and so on. So that is very challenging, especially for someone who didn't work for any corporate,
And do you have this operational scalability, which mean people and processes?
We have to keep developing that, Like, I cannot say we already have it the same way as I wasn't able to say that a year ago, 2 years ago, and so on. We have to keep being on track, keep developing that scalability. Those processes are very different now than where a year ago, and they're very different from what they're going to be like in a year. So
you have to be aware how it changes now.
Yes.
And what's the most mistakes people do when scaling? What were your biggest mistakes until now on this scaling path?
I think that people think that if it works in a small scale, it has to work in the big scale also, and they don't have to change anything. It makes sense if it works when I only have 2 stores. So why wouldn't it work when I have 10? But the laws behind that change very much when you
that you have to adjust your organization. This is a big challenge, and a lot of people don't consider it in these categories. Let us talk in a more concrete way about your situation, about your franchising idea. Before the podcast, we said that you had a Project X, which is your internal name for your approach for the future about your franchising. Can you tell me what's your turnkey model, which you underline the marketplace and the data-driven site selection, everything?
I believe that we have developed something very unique, and that's the full management service that we can provide to our franchisees. But it all started with a normal or a typical franchise like any other on the market. So we, taught those franchisees how to do it. Then they did it by themselves. And then we just took, we were just controlling if they do it the right way or not. But then it didn't work. Sometimes, some franchisees weren't taking, some franchisees didn't take care of it properly. It just didn't work. And so we started helping them. We started saying, look, you don't take care of your store the way you should, but we can take care of your store for you if you want. And of course, they started paying for this as an extra service, and it turned
like
out
a passive service,
yeah,
passive franchise.
It wasn't passive at that point, but we helped them managing employees and so on. So that was at some point, and we realized that those stores are performing better if our professional operations team is taking care of those stores than if the franchisee who doesn't have the ability to take care of the store in the right way takes care of it. And then that's how the passive franchise was developed, because there was a huge demand. Those people saw that opportunity. Look, I build a franchise, and then they are the ones who are taking care of the operations of the store. So I don't have to do anything. I want that. It created a huge demand. We started selling franchises like crazy. But then we found out that if we want to open a new market, there is no shortcut. We cannot start with the passive franchise on a new market. We need to go back to the beginning, find the active franchisees who will set or open the first few locations, show how that market should be approached, and then on top of that, we can start building the passive franchise thing. And that's the new thing that we realized this year. And that's why we call it the Project X. It's very new. And that's why we're focusing very much on that now, because we want to expand to new markets and new countries.
In fact, you don't want to learn by yourself on the new market. You want to take advantage of the entrepreneurship of the franchisees of their ability to understand the local markets, customers, and then scale.
It's not that we don't want to do it by ourselves, but it's that we know that if we do the first location with the right franchisee who is there locally, we will succeed.
Yeah.
If we do it by ourselves from Prague, if we do it by ourselves with a management that's based in Prague, there is a high chance it's not going to work.
Okay, so this is quite natural. This is like customer feedback you need to always consider to succeed. This is like customer obsession, in fact. But so to summarize this part, so in your approach, you have passive and active franchise. Active, this was the very beginning after you develop the passive one, which means that you support the management of your franchisees. And now you go to the beginnings again, because you believe that on the new markets you need to operate more close to your franchisees and their ability to understand the market.
Exactly. Yes, that's the reason. That's why we did that.
Great. This is a great reflection, in fact. I believe really that companies able to change to be very flexible compared to the feedback they get from the market, they can only succeed. You cannot stick with your conception and fixed idea.
Yeah, that's why, I always say, because we're not that small, we're not startup anymore, because we have more than 5,000 people that work for us in those 12 markets that we're in.
5,000 people.
Yeah, that's quite a lot. But I always say, we have to be startup in heart, we have to do it the way we did it when we only had like 20 people.
Yeah, you have to
have to be flexible.
Yeah, you have to protect those features which brought you here. You cannot lose these ones which made you successful, in fact.
Yeah.
But when I asked you what were your biggest mistakes, you didn't tell me. But if you have 5,000 people, so for sure you had your challenges with your lack of ability of managing so many people and increasing the number of people.
Well, that's the thing. That's the limiting factor. That you can have 100,000 people, but you cannot have 50,000 one year and 100,000 second year. So that's the, the biggest mistake in the last few months or years was that we did too many countries all at once, I think, with this approach that we are going to do it all with a Czech management from Prague. So they're going to be taking care of New York and Rome in Italy all at once. And they're going to be expanding in those markets that were far away from each other. And it turned out that this is not as efficient if we just choose one market and one country or one city that performs the best and put all focus just on that one market. And if someone really wants our store in New York, let them do it, but let them do it. Let's not do it for them, and that's the learning from this year and from not just this year, but the years before. That's what we learned, and that's why we're implementing this new project now.
So you will have your lovable markets where you will accomplish your passive franchise idea, and the other ones, let them do.
But still, it's not a franchise as any other. It still has some differences, and the main difference is that we love to take franchise as a product, and franchisee as a customer. We don't outsource operations to franchisees. We normally take care of them like they are our customers. They're the paying ones, and we have to take care of them. And even in this license thing, even though they are the ones setting it up, opening it, operating it, if they fail, we take responsibility. We will allow them, to change location, to find a better location, because normally it fails because of a location or people. So we will either help them find better people if it's employees, or change location if it's the location, or the whole concept. If they have a license for Twistcafe in Poland, for example, or Germany, and it fails, and we will find out that this concept doesn't work in that specific market, we will allow them to choose any of our 12 other franchises and models that we have and replace it with the one that they bought. And we do that for free. So there is still some guarantee that other franchises are not able to put into it because they are not a multi-brand company.
Yeah, this is an advantage of a platform. Yeah, and this flexibility really very great as a part of value proposition for your franchisees. And tell me, what's the difference between a healthy Twist franchise system compared to one which looks good only in the investor presentation?
The difference is what happens when things go wrong, because they do go wrong. They always go wrong because it's a business. You cannot take it as, as something completely like, it's not a fairy tale. It's a business, So you have to ask, if you want to become a franchisee of any concept, you have to ask what happens when things go wrong. What happens when I'm losing money? What happens when the location that I build that store in stops performing because they close the shopping mall, or the street was closed for 2 years or something like that? What happens then? And that's the biggest difference, because we feel involved. We feel there, to be there with the franchisee, and we always try to find any way to help them. If they have the passive franchise, it's even written in the contract. We have to replace the concept. We have to take their location and put there somewhere else on our expense. If it's a license, if it's the Project X that we spoke about before, they have the ability to do it. They have the ability to change the location, and that other franchises don't allow because they don't take the franchisee as their customer.
Okay. And I wanted to push you a bit to explain me your system idea. This is, of course, a very good thing that there is this curve when things go wrong. But after, I wanted to push you a bit to tell me about your managerial support? Because it's not only to have this functional know-how for your franchisees, which means that you show them how to cook your cakes and this bubble tea, prepare the bubble tea. But in fact, I wanted to see the managerial know-how packed in your system, which enables your franchisees to grow their business, to be multi-franchisee, for example, or to live in a way that's really...
You always help the franchisees with the hardest thing that they have to do, and that's taking care of their people, because mostly they don't know how to do it. When franchisees approach us, it's usually their single first franchise, and we have to help them and tell them how to do it, how to we have to teach them like how to set up a company, how to hire the first people, how to approach those people so that they don't quit, what to do when someone doesn't come to work, and the store is empty. What should they do with that? And this support, because they don't have experience, they come to a franchise industry because they don't have experience with business. Mostly, of course, there are exemptions, but mostly it is like this. And we have to teach them that all. We have to have manuals for everything. We have to have our managers that are able to look for a way, because not everything is manualable. Let's say, you cannot put everything into a manual. You have to teach those franchisees to be able to look for...
to be on the job with people, in fact.
Yeah.
And what in the first episode of this podcast, I had CEO of L'Osteria, Jacek, and he came here with the one-page strategic plan because the scenario was prepared like this. And he presented me the way how they cascade their strategy to franchisees and how they work as an organization together. And this is something I wanted to ask you also for the reason that we have just released a market research report here in Poland. Checking up in this, let's say, research, how the managerial systems are operated. And we have discovered that most of the franchisors, they had their strategies, and they inform the franchisees about the strategies. And after, the problem is on the level of the execution of those strategies on the part of franchisees. And I wanted to see if you are already really so advanced that you're able to cascade your strategy, to take people with you on this strategic path, to help them to grow with you, but having really very structured, let's say, way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it depends, because we now start having two very different products. One is the passive franchise, and there it's about taking care of it. It's about us taking care of it on their behalf so that they don't have to. Mm-hmm. And you don't have to teach these people how to manage other people and how to manage their store, because they're not going to do it. Mm-hmm. But now in the active franchise that we are now pushing on the new markets, yes, we need this. And we have it because we even have other active franchisees on the Czech market. But we just have to adjust it, because it's a little different if you're teaching new franchisees on a new market how to do it, than teaching someone on a market where already 300 stores are open how they should do it.
Mm-hmm. It's extremely difficult, really. And moreover, if you grow so fast, for sure, this is really a challenge. What I wanted to ask now is to talk a bit I would like to talk now a bit about difficult things for you, which you meet in the marketplace. I can imagine that if somebody is successful, then not everybody may like it. And also when you grow, there are tensions, pressures. Yeah, this, as we said, growth speed is very challenging. So tell me, what was personally the hardest for you as a leader?
I always say that something's been the hardest thing. But I don't know what's ahead of me. So then I'm surprised again. But yes, we are disrupting the franchise market here in Central Europe. We are doing it the way nobody else does it. And of course, if you do something new that nobody has done before, you have to take that as you have to consider that you're gonna do some things wrong. For example, us. We opened markets we shouldn't open, but that's not the biggest problem. We opened those markets we shouldn't open at this point all at once. So our managers were traveling to Los Angeles in the United States, and when they came back, they had to go to Dubai. When they came back from Dubai, they had to go to Spain. And when we opened, it was before we opened Krakow here in Poland. And when we opened Krakow here in Poland, and it immediately after being open became our most successful city worldwide, we look at the map and said, what are we doing? Let's focus those managers instead of going to the United States, to Krakow, and let's focus on what really works, not what we want to work in long-term perspective. So that was very hard for me, to acknowledge this, to say, okay, we made a mistake. We cannot build markets like in the whole world. We have to focus on what works the best. After that is done, after that is finished, let's focus on something new, but one after one, not all at once. And if we have demand for franchise in the United States or in anywhere in Japan, let them do it. That's what we realized this year. And that's why I love, that the company is now not as small as it used to be, but it's still flexible, and we are still able to realize these things and immediately change what we've done.
So you have to make a few steps back to go forward. Yeah. Okay, but what is crucial is to learn, to be able to discover that you are doing wrong and to change. And for me, only the organizations which are systematic, system-driven organizations are able to reflect and to change very quickly. So for sure you have to have your mistakes. What is important for sure in these kind of situations, to protect your franchisees from this experimentation. Sometimes people, when I'm advising people, sometimes we are creating franchise systems, then we fix somebody like ambassador, this is a person who knows that he's taking part in a kind of market, let's say, opening and experimentation as a first franchisee. He gets better conditions, but in a very conscious way wants to try something new and be the very first one. So it's always this transparency which is helping.
Yeah, and I think it's more than just that. If you want to do experiments and you want to do it with franchisees, it's completely okay. But if it fails, you have to take care of them, and that's very important. That's what we do, and that's why we have a lot of people that want to do those experiments with us, because they're not risking much.
Yeah, they are not left. They are not left, for sure. Yeah, the same situation is with the, let's say, tech startups which are taking franchising as a tool on their growth path and starting franchising their business. And generally somebody could say, before you don't test your business model, you cannot franchise it. Of course, but after that the marketplace is so dynamic that if you would like to wait with your franchising, then you could lose your competitive advantage because somebody else could take it from you. So you have to have your idea how to experiment, as you said, with your franchisees and to support them when things are not going well and the experiment is not very successful.
Yeah, I don't think that exists something like a franchise concept that has been tested, because you open it and you on a new market and it's a new story, you need a franchise partner or a franchisor who says that he has a model that's been tested, but you don't need that. You need someone who has a franchise model that works on some markets and who's able to help you and to reshape that model on your local conditions, because they change over time. So it's not really, possible to test everything and everywhere. Maybe McDonald's has that. They already know that it works everywhere. But if you have a new concept or if you have a new model, you just have to be able to change it and help those franchisees more than keep testing something that's going to change anyway.
Okay, so I would like to come back to the topic with the investor to have, to check up what's your strategic vision with the investor you want to accomplish.
Like I said, we are disrupting the franchise market, and I think that not just me, but me, my partners, and now
you
the
as
investor.
Twist,
We think that there is a huge potential in this. We can take it and implement it in a lot of concepts. So we would like to start expanding to further Europe now, because now we are focused on Central Europe. That's why we launched the X project, the license project, that anyone in Spain or Sweden or UK or anywhere, if they want to cooperate with us, they can be the first franchisees there. We're going to help them. Because we want to expand to Europe now. We want to become the Europe's biggest multi-brand franchise or retail company. That's the first goal. But then I have been saying this. I have been saying this from the first store. I really want Twist to become the second Starbucks. So that's the ultimate goal.
That's something as a big, hairy, audacious goal. That's very,
still
very
far.
great.
Still very far.
You have generated 10 to 25 years due to the art. So for sure it will be. What was not negotiable for you in the conversation with the investor?
We love to do win-win cooperations. They also, we wanted to Twist to become at least a European number one. They want the same thing, so we actually found a way pretty quickly.
And they will maintain a minority stake, and you as founders majority.
Yeah, me, Ander, and Dan, we are the founders of Twist, and we're gonna keep a majority.
Okay. And how will your role change with the investor? Do you think that there will be a change?
I think there is going to be a change. We are going to be more systematic, and I think it's a good thing. So
private equity, they want to have very systematic, predictable organizations, because they know that you have to adjust your setup of your organization to your phase of growth. So it's great for you.
I think that we're going to be more systematic. I think that we are not going to do some things that we maybe did or maybe still do. And I think that both of those are is the good thing, because the company needs that. It's really not a tiny little company with 100 people anymore. It's 5,000 people in 8 countries, 12 concepts. So it deserves more systems and
But I wanted to ask you before, why not earlier, why not later? So you answered, you have answered my question, because really it's the moment, maybe really to be for the system.
Well, it's multiple things. It's the moment, and you always have to find someone. You have to. You need the moment and you need the person, and right now we got both. So that's why now.
And how your leadership evolved since you had 20 locations until now, when you have more than 400, probably?
Extremely. I think that people that worked for us, those 11 years ago, I wouldn't realize that it's the same company,
But yourself.
It's connected, because back then I needed to have control over completely everything. I wouldn't allow anyone to buy a single pen into the company. Before, without me knowing about that. Right now, it's actually the opposite. I want to be involved in the major things. I want to know about the strategic things. I still need to know about some operational things, unfortunately, but that's getting better. But I want to be involved in things that matter, and I want the same from my managers and my greatest and closest people. I want them also to be only involved in the major things and to be able to decide which things are major and which are not. So that changed like crazy.
I have seen the video. During the weekend that your team accomplished for you, showing you as a leader. And for me, it was so amazing because they shown you as a person, inspiring, putting people in action. That's a compliment, really. And I had the impression that, in fact, it's your founder's mentality which makes people engage with you and be committed.
I think there is one more thing. Back those 11 years ago, I think I didn't manage people like the right way. And people actually didn't like me back then. And it changed a lot. Now the team is very motivated. We love to share success with them and they feel it. And now I think they like, to work with us.
So you are more systematic.
Not just that, but also that, yes.
Yeah, but how to build trust in an organization which is growing faster than its culture can naturally evolve?
Mm-hmm. That's a question, but we do it the way that we try to choose people that we feel that are culturally fit with us. And we trust people, we don't try to control every step that they do. We give them trust. And if there is success, we share that success with them. They love to work for a company that is successful and that expands this fast. And if they feel that they are behind that success, if it's not just us, me and my two partners, but if it's those people also.
You are not tired with your market disruption yet, no. Because there are different, companies, operators, they are big, they grow fast, but they are tired a bit. They are not that much, energetic like maybe you do.
And that's because of the team, they recharge us and they help us a lot. So if the team works well, we won't be tired soon. And it's still, we're still, we made something, I think. We are in, like I said, 8 countries, 12 concepts and so on. But it's still just the beginning. Look at, American concepts. Look in how many countries they are, how many stores they have. I think there is still a way ahead of us.
Yeah, in fact, the big strategic question for you is how to really take advantage of your business model to grow your group more than, as we said before, those concepts. You have such a potential. In fact, in Europe, for me, since I know Twist, for me, this what was resonating with me that time when we met first was that you have that you defined yourself as the fastest growing European franchise group or brand.
Group, yes.
Group that time. Now you changed a bit, but this pan-European approach and, intimacy is still existing. And I think that there is a niche, you have everywhere American concepts and American groups, interesting brands, but there is nobody who would take place in the market space being the European leader like this as a group.
And that's exactly our ambition. People all around the world come to Europe, to see all those castles and nice streets and nice places, nice cities. So they love Europe, and we can bring a part of Europe closer to them if we do it the right way.
Yeah. In fact, for sure, it's not this due to the fact that you want to be the European concept, but I saw that you said somewhere that you create your concepts in the big cities, city centers, in the touristic places, yes, but it's not due to the fact that you want to bring Europe to people, but you see the market potential.
Every concept has a specific ideal location. So for Twist Cafe or Trdelník Cafe, it's a downtown of some like very famous or very visited tourist place, especially here in Central Europe now. For bubble tea concept, it's the shopping malls and so on. So every concept has this different. But for now we're focusing on Europe. The difference between before and now is that before I thought that the full management service was evolution of a classical active franchise, and we wouldn't be the ones propagating classical active franchise anymore because it has already evolved. What changed is that now I see a synergy between those two, between a classic franchise that we need to open a new market and we want new markets, and this full management franchise as something that's built on top of that. And it can work together in synergy in those local markets, and it can be there, and it has to be there. Because if you have a great active franchisee who's taking care of their own store, they're also showing our managers how to do it and what numbers they can do there in that local market. And those managers are more under pressure than if they're the only ones there, So I think there is a synergy between those two models, and that's the difference. That's something that we realized. But this is still something that helps us, grow to Europe. But we don't want to stop just in Europe because we have demands from the whole world.
But you don't need to stop in Europe to be this European origin franchise group. Even in opposite, you have to bring Europe somewhere else.
But we have to be strong in Europe first, and that's what we realized this year. Let's focus on Europe now. Let's be here.
Which countries? Italy, you said, Portugal,
Italy, Spain, mostly Spain. Because we're known in the Czech Republic, in Poland, or Krakow. So far, but yeah, we are known here in Central Europe, and people love to travel to Spain. So they're there, they know us, or they tell someone there, they know us, they want our concepts there. So it's Spain, it's Italy, and then of course Germany, Austria, Poland, and so on.
And Italy, Spain. Is there any special approach to entrepreneurship in those countries that you see this potential, or it's the first, let's say, Czech? Or
so far Czech franchisees are demanding stores in Italy and Spain because they have some house there, they travel there a lot, they know how our concepts work because they know it from here. So they won't be the first operators. We have some Spanish demands, but it's just in the beginning now. I don't have that experience to say, well, they're different in this or that.
And let us have a look at your relationship to your franchisees. Is your franchisee more an investor or more of an entrepreneur?
He can be more of an investor than in any other franchise retail concept. And the reason for that is simplicity. Even if you're an active franchisee, we have a POS system and software that helps us tracking food and tracking employees and how many employees should be there and if they came on time or didn't and so on. So
this is your technology you have developed, your operating system.
We keep developing that. It's very unique. We are considering offering even that, to the whole market.
This is like
to
a
other
competitive
concepts.
advantage.
Yeah,
the main part of your competitive advantage.
I wish I could show you now. It's very good. It does a lot of things that need to be done manually in other concepts, and it does it automatically. So it helps a lot to a franchisee. So active franchisee can be more of an investor, but still an entrepreneur than in any other franchise concept. But the passive franchisee can be just an investor. They don't need to do anything else because we are the ones taking care of it.
In fact, when we have a look at your, let's say, franchisee portfolio, so you have those ones who want to run one store, active one. You can have a franchisee who wants to be a multi-franchisee. Yes, and
but they usually come to us, approach us, and say, let's start with just one.
Because when I met this Polish franchisee once, then he had already 5 stores in the area of Krakow.
Yeah, that's right. They always approach us and say, look, I want a franchise from you, but I want to start with just one because I don't know how it works. I want to test it first. So they buy the first one. Then we help them find location, build a store and so on. If they want us to take care of the operations, we start operating the store. And then they see how it works. They see that we really help them, in case they end up in trouble or it doesn't work the way they expected it to work. We always come there and say, okay, let's do this, that, and it's going to be okay. So the average franchisee of Twist has 2.1 franchise. So majority of them have more than one. Some have 5. I think the one that has most of locations has like 7 or 8.
So in fact, Twist is relational, not transactional.
Yes, definitely.
That's for sure. All the time you underline it and this direction of the development. But when I think about your franchisee development, then having although the whole strategy oriented on being this European franchise group very, very clear, then you need to have a community of your partners, of your franchisees, to be able to distribute this vision to people. This is such a challenge, really, to gather different profiles of people you have, because there will be some which will have one store, there will be another one with a group of stores, and then you have to approach them in a different way, to manage them in a different way, to motivate them in a different way for you to be.
Again, the same thing, because as I said before, it's completely different when you have 20 franchisees and you know them all personally, and when you have 300 franchisees. Of course, every franchisee has a different story, different reason why they did this business. They have different concept in our case, and they're different personalities. But we found a way in personalizing the service for them. So we have we call them business consultants. So these people are working in a close relationship with franchisees, helping them, overseeing their business, helping them with specifics of that, helping communicating things to them in case they don't understand something. And we created a system that every franchisee has a different business consultant, different type or profile of business consultant. And that's based on their needs. So we try to personalize it because we, want them to be successful, to be supported, to be happy in the business, and to keep, rolling and opening new stores. Because of course, it's more efficient if you have fewer number of franchisees and a lot of stores than the opposite, than as many franchisees as stores. So,
So personalized support due to the adjusted to the profile of your franchisee. This is another part. So in fact, to summarize your franchise value proposition, so I understood that there is this technology, which is very important as a key differentiator, in fact. after this approach of your business consultants to help people to oversee their business, and what else?
Well, this, those business consultants that are personalized based on the franchisee, the software that helps make it very simple to be operated, even in the active franchise. Even if you live here in Poland, in Warsaw, and want the store in Warsaw, you want to open it as a first active franchisee, that it's going to be very simple for you. You just, fly to Prague. We're going to teach you all that. And then you have the system that helps you. And then it's the thing that we really, it's the approach. It's the fact that we take those franchisees as clients, as customers, and we want them to be happy. We don't fight them in case they're not happy. We try to look for a solution. We don't say, it's your problem. You have to deal with that by yourself. We always try to find a solution. And the worst case scenario is that we come here, and operate the store for you, or help you operate it and show you how to do it the way that you are happy with that.
Yeah, when I asked at the beginning that who will benefit of the private equity investor, so it was by purpose, because I wanted you to say that the franchisees will benefit, because it's great. Really, it's a great thing to join a company where there is an investor and there is a future also.
If you remember, I said everyone, and I definitely meant even franchisees, because they are, the biggest part and the most important part of the company, and they will definitely benefit, and they know it, they feel it. We announced that 2 days or 3 days ago, and we already got a lot of positive feedback, because the company, me, Dan, and Andrea, we are founders of this company, and we are always gonna be here doing our best, like we did now, and we are gonna push the company to grow fast, to achieve, that vision that we spoke about a few minutes ago. But now we have someone who has experience from bigger business, and they will help us and guide us to do things that we should do and not to do things that we shouldn't do. And I do admit that we needed that, and that it's going to help all people involved, including franchisees.
Yeah, it's great to be a part of a company thriving, not only not struggling, that's for sure. And if people are choosing franchise systems, I always underline that they should check a wider perspective, not only the direct one, which is related to the conditions of the franchise. And this is me as an ecosystem builder. I'm trying to enlarge this perspective and the analysis perspective of people choosing franchise systems, to ask even about the purpose of the company, values of the company, everything which is really a foundation of the business. Because this is a kind of guarantee to sustain as a franchisor and as a franchisee.
I always say, ask the franchisor, the person who's offering you to be a part of their franchise, what they're gonna do, what's gonna happen if things go wrong, and just be 100% sure that in any business, the things are gonna go wrong at some point. This is the most important thing, and I think any franchisor should have answer on this.
Yeah, it's a great thing also to be a part of a European business. I'm a very big fan of Europe, so I can really imagine that this is something which makes a difference. At the end, I would like to ask you a rapid fire side questions, which I ask everybody.
Okay.
Quick question, quick answer. What gives you motivation to keep moving forward?
The happiness of people that work with us, either employees or franchisees.
What's your favorite application?
Gmail, I think.
Which meeting do you look forward every week?
A meeting with our franchise managers that show us, how many people are interested in our franchises.
Does AI give you more hope or more tension?
Hope.
And what is the single important lesson you would give to an entrepreneur willing to scale a business in a franchise model?
It's not just to someone who wants to scale in a franchise model, but I would say, I want to say that I think that in any business, the key is persistence. You just cannot, go away if things go wrong, because it's a normal thing. They go wrong. You have to stay there. And the ones that are successful, and that's what I really strongly believe in, were the ones that were persistent and that just were there when the company needed them, to go through all things that went wrong, and they fixed them and became successful. That's my strongest belief.
Great. Radek, that's it for today. Thank you so much for this interview.
I thank you very much for inviting me here to Warsaw, and I can't wait to see you again.